They've measured like serotonin and dopamine levels. There's so many factors. There's so many factors into why someone would be depressed.
Yeah.
Some of it has to be genetic, just like mental illness. Some of it is absolutely genetic. Some of it is life circumstances. I mean, if you have a shitty job and a shitty life and shitty friends and a shitty house and a shitty neighborhood, you probably feel like shit.
I remember when I had all that, and I was depressed.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was logical depression. There was a reason I was depressed. I was newly in the world as a person out of college, so I was starting life. For the first time, I didn't have the protective guardianship of school.
Right.
Okay, so that's scary. And I was worried, am I going to be a failure in life? Here I am trying to be a comedian. Okay, that's a risky proposition. Not many people make it. I was embarrassed to even tell people, what do you do? Oh, I'm trying to be a comedian. Okay, that's funny. And I lived in a shitbox. And I didn't have any girlfriends, and I had no money. And I was depressed for very good reason. No respect. I had nothing that makes people happy. When I got more of those things, I got happier. That's normal, okay? That's different than the person who has lots of great things. I mean, you read about this all the time among the show business community. And people, I'm sure, all the time say that, why is this guy depressed? He must be on top of the world.
Right.
And, no, he had to quit the tour because of mental health issues. He was depressed. People are lining up to see him in fucking arenas, and he's depressed. And it's, because that doesn't solve the problem when it's a chemical problem.
Yeah, and I think also for some people, they worship this idea of success as being the thing that's going to get them out of it, that's going to make them happy. And then they get success, and then they get accustomed to that success, and they're still not happy. And then they get really depressed. Like, oh, my God, I'm at the top, and it sucks.
Right. I mean, if that still doesn't fill the hole in your heart, then where do you go? You got nothing else.
Yeah, I always wonder. I mean, I think these things vary very widely. And I always wonder, like, what is their life like? What are their friends like? What's their family like? What do they do for activities? What are they eating? Are they sleeping well? Like, are they doing anything to mitigate it, to put themselves on a path, that gives them some sort of a feeling of accomplishment in life, a feeling of like, and I don't mean accomplishment in terms of like material possessions, but like you're doing something, you're getting something done.
A reason to get up in the morning.
Yeah, something that you really enjoy and gives you joy, and it gives you happiness and satisfaction. There's a lot of people out there that don't have that. Like you said, we're really lucky that we have jobs that we enjoy. We love what we do. We have like, I mean, there's a reason why when someone says to you, oh, you're going to be a stand-up comedian, good fucking luck. Because most people don't make it.
No, they don't.
Most. I mean, do you remember the people you did open mic with? How many of them are still around?
I remember everybody I was in the clubs with. It was hundreds of guys.
Yeah.
Mostly guys, some women. But, I mean, back in 1980, and yes, you could name them all. Or, like I always like to point out to people when they get into these discussions about the strike and show business and what kind of business this is and is it different than other businesses. Yes, if you look at the credits of any movie, especially ones that are a few years old, 10 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, look at the credits as they go by at the end of the movie. Outside of the 2 or 3 stars of the movie, you'll see a list of 20 or 30 people who were in that movie. All of them thought they were going to be stars. They all had parts. Not the biggest parts in the movies, but parts. And you look at that list and you do not recognize one of those names.
Yeah.
They all wanted to be something that this movie that they were in was going to take them to the next level, and it did not.
Yeah.
It did not. That's just show business.
I was watching an interview. Well, it wasn't really an interview. It was like they caught her at the airport with Bridget Fonda. She just dropped out of show business, and they caught her like walking, and they said, "Do you think you'll ever do a movie again? You were in so many iconic movies, like Single White Female and this and that, naming these movies." She's like, "No way." She's like, "Nope. I like being a civilian now.
Yeah,
it's too much fun.
That's
Bye.
different.
See ya."
That's different. She had a big career.
Yeah,
and she just had enough of it.
Yeah,
and that's okay. I mean, first of all, show business, especially acting, very tough on females as they age.
Sure.
We just know that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be iconic
Yeah.
to be working in your 60s like Meryl Streep.
Right.
Because, you know, especially if you're the leading lady, I mean,
Right.
they have no problem pairing a 60-year-old guy with a 35-year-old woman.
Right.
That's just the way it is
Yeah.
in movies, or at least it has been. So as you get into those upper ages, those parts are not going to be there. And look, that's partly what the audience wants. I mean, you can hate the studios for doing that, but studios are always just reflecting what the audience wants, including the women in the audience.
Yeah. You know what's fascinating? The one group that absolutely gets discriminated in Hollywood is gay men. Gay men never play straight men in blockbuster movies. Openly gay men are never like the romantic interest in a blockbuster movie. You can have an openly gay woman and no one cares.
Like who?
Oh, you could have one. I don't think it would be a problem.
Well,
If
name somebody. Like, who's an openly gay woman?
who is one?
Well, Kristen Stewart is now an openly gay woman.
Oh, she is?
Kristen Stewart?
I didn't know she was. The girl from Twilight? Yeah. I didn't know she was openly gay. I mean,
Hello?
I'm out of the loop. No, but she used to date that other guy.
Up,
She used to date Robert Pattinson. I didn't know that she was gay now.
That was 10 years ago.
I didn't. I don't follow her romantic career. You're acting like I'm not paying attention to who the president is.
I'm offended, Joe. No, I mean, she's very. I mean, first of all, she just definitely is. I mean, you see pictures of her. You could tell that she's walking that side of the street now. She openly announced it on Saturday Night Live.
I don't watch that show.
Yeah, I don't either. But I know she did, and of course, it was met with thunderous applause, which should tell you something about the hypocrisy of how brave it is to come out.
Well, if she wanted to play a
Brave-
leading woman, nobody would have a problem with that.
No, but I just parenthetically, brave, by the way,
Yeah.
is when you say something and people boo.
Or they want to kill you.
Yes,
Right. Julian
Well-
Assange is brave.
right. When people cheer raucously, that's somewhat less than brave.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it does take some courage to come out. But, you know, as I always say, let's live in the year we're living in. And in the year we're living in, it's like sometimes it's preferable to come out as gay.
Yeah. It's rewarded in some circles. I have friends who unfortunately are in the closet who can't come out because of their family. They're worried about the impact of their family. Like grew up in the Midwest, religious family, and it eats them alive. They're usually drunk all the time. Like those guys get
Right.
it's really rough.